So to so today, there's an artist that I'd like for you to look up. Some of you may know who he is, and some of you may not know who he is. And his name is Henri Matisse. Now, in my college prep art studies, in my advanced art classes, um, one of my instructors, who I believe she still teaches in Royal Oak, um, she had a very unique perspective of picking up my style of art, of what I was actually doing. Um, and what I it wasn't only what I felt comfortable with doing, but what I was picking up and what I thought was interesting to paint. And she was looking at a lot of the approach that I had to, I guess, the way that I prepared, like my preparation style, and then just like the exact nature of how I did everything. And one of the assignments that she gave us, and her name is Mrs. Agigian. One of the assignments that she gave the class for the advanced art students was uh, she assigned an artist to us, and she asked us to, in all of the works that they had, to find a painting and to study it and repaint it. It was an art exercise. And the artist that she selected for me was Henri Matisse. And if I remember correctly, I mean, I was impressed with Henri Matisse's work for an absolute different reason than I was with any of the other artists that have been noted in history. So I could understand why she had presented it to me, but the tough part that I had is the issue is the problem that I still have now. He has so many good works. To me, he has so many good works. It's tough to pick, and so the assignment was even tough for me to pick. Um, whichever one I was going to paint. And this was some time ago. And this was a teacher where Miss Agigian, she had me cracking up. Every time she had a Center for Creative Studies catalog in her classroom, she would sit it on my desk. She would be like, Cambia, go to CCS. All the time. All the time. And they always published like a yearly catalog of their advancements in all levels of art. So it was, I understood, because every time she had a catalog for what CCS was doing, she set it on my desk. And I never regretted the visual. I kept the books. Like, I used to archive the books, because to me, at the time I had like a structural library of magazines and reference materials anyway. But anyway, let me go back to this artist and the paintings that I want you to look at to understand why she was doing this. Now, for me, I believe she was doing this for college prep. Like, she thought, her thing was, she knew for sure I'd get in, and I'm pretty sure that I would have gotten into Center for Creative Studies. It wasn't a direction that I wanted to go. And it wasn't that she wasn't right. It wasn't that she was not correct in the direction that it was not that she was not correct. She was absolutely correct with understanding that I would get into Center for Creative Studies. And all of her college prep was not incorrect. All of her college prep was correct, for being an art major, which is what some of the artists were doing. Some of the artists who were really painters, some of the artists who were really artists, they were going to get their degree in art as art majors. Me, on the other hand, I was already booking shows quietly. in high school, and showing, and and so I guess my issue was I couldn't. I felt like if I did not, I felt like I was going to be stagnant. So anyway, the beauty of Henri Matisse work, and I'll never forget the importance of the assignment, is he has he has a very interesting color palette. What I loved about it was it sent me back after years of looking at all these advancements and blending colors and doing all of these interesting works. It sent me back into this feeling that I had, that I could probably mess with watercolors, that I could probably use some of the pastels in a unique way. It sent me back into a primary lesson game of for me of what I could recall. His choice in his color palette is one of the only things that's simple in a very complex approach to how he chooses to draw your attention to something. So the primary color use, it seems simple enough, but still, it's done in a very unique way, and I still love his work to this day. So one of the paintings that I'll have you reference is the green stripe painting. And what I want you to study in the painting visually for observation is you want to begin to understand perspective of, like to like to me, one of the most interesting perspectives that a person can have is the artist's perspective. Why was the subject chosen? Why was the subject decided to be a focal point in the observation of the person? So when you look at the green stripe painting, what I want you to do is to look at the painting. Look at the person in the painting. Look at the, is there anything that you could pick up about how the individual felt about the person in the painting? What facts can you glean from the reason why this person is there? And and do they know? Of course, that in this instance, ask yourself these questions like, do they know? What You'll know the answer once you look up the painting. But the thing is in the observation of when you're painting people, is do they know? All of these things are questions that only the artist can answer when they're painting a person. Is when you're painting a person, does the person know that they're being painted? Even if the person is being painted, do you want to present that in the presentation of how the painting looks? Is that something that you'd like to do? Can your imagination push you into that place? Um, a few points that I picked up. I like the exactness of the disposition, and that's all I'll say. I just like the exactness of the disposition of the person in the picture. It's To me, it just makes sense, right? But that's all I'll say on that painting. The next painting that I'll have you look at is called Interior at Nice. Interior at Nice is a very interesting painting. And what I want you to look at is look at the range. Look at the range of his ability. Because now it's no longer just an item in a painting. So it's no longer an item in a painting. Now, keep in mind, I'm the type of artist where I early on, I had to progress to being able to do more than one thing in a painting, because my intensity um, for observation in every aspect of anything that was happening in the like my intensity for absolutely staring at something, trying to get all of the details in it, before I rendered it, it was so time consuming. As a practice, it took years for me to be able to learn how to turn that approach from a complex approach into simplify it where I could put more than one thing in a painting. Um, so so to me, when I had seen Henri Matisse work and I had seen how much of his ability to be able to um, illustrate an interior, like an interior with whatever it is that in the color palette, you know, in the colors that he chose to use, in the way that he chose to illustrate the whatever it is that's in there, you know, if it, you know, interior at nice has it has this where, you know, to me it has this where he would want to be, you know, a preferred place, like a preferred um place, just to take some time and just be himself, take some time and just, you know, for the people that he that are there to relax and be themselves just for a minute, you know, or just take some time. It didn't matter how much time he was there, even if it was a even if it was for some reason an everyday way that he was there. For whatever reason, interior at night just seems to be a very interesting capture of like that was a good day for him. Like, you can, when you look at that, what can you pick up about it being a good day for him? You know, is there something that you can learn in the way that you paint about um, projecting a certain view? You know, I'll give you an example. Like, what is there something about that you can learn from Henri Matisse about creating a good day through art? Sometimes paintings have the ability to be able to do that. What you'll observe a lot in Henri Matisse work is he has an approach to be able to, you know, it's everyday life in his art. It's everyday, whatever it is that was happening when he observed it. It's everyday life in these paintings, and it's normalized. It's not. Um, that's another thing you'll notice in some of his artwork. Whatever it is he captures, however the people it is that he captures, what is it about the painting that makes what he put down as a reference normalized? You know what I'm saying? And then asking yourself the question of, you know, once again with the people, you know, in the observations is, you know, just whatever it is that the person decided that they needed to know about life at that time. The other thing that I think is interesting is what can you discern in his work when you look at Henri Matisse um, reference works. What can you determine about your ability as an artist to be able to depict, even if it's a image? Can you still convey time and place? It's for some reason. It's for some reason. Even if it's just a like one thing that you put in an entire painting, can people still pick up time and place for some reason? For some reason. I always feel like time and place is only the artist can explain that. Other people can mention it, other people can, you know, can probably confirm it, but in the artworks, what is it about time and place that makes it significant? You know, once these works are put together. And so anyway, that's what I have, the assignment that I have in communication for any people looking to advance in their artwork, um, their art abilities, because it's not tough to do, but then at the same time, this is something that you can do where it should still be fun for you, and it should still be something that you shouldn't feel confined, like in your effort to try to put together any of these, in your effort to try to put together any of these particular ideas. What you want to do is try to see if it's some area, um, is it some area in your work where you can, where you're not seeking a perfection in the art, you're seeking a communication in the art. Is that possible? And what happens when you do that is that communication readily understood. You know what I'm saying? And so this is another thing that I think is interesting about Henri Matisse, because he titles his work exactly like according to the intent of the painting. Even I'm impressed by that still to this day, because it's a lot of stuff are untitled in my works. There's a lot of stuff in my works that are untitled, but people pick up the intent in the image. Some people, they sometimes they pick up the intent in the image, and then I'll title it, or sometimes I'll title it or whatever like that. But in his works are titled, and they actually always make sense. Always makes absolute sense to why he titled it that way. And I think that's very impressive. Keep in mind, this is all, when you're talking about Impressionism, the style of what he's known for in history, and to be able to make that level of an impression, to be able to put that information in there, and for it to stick is very interesting. You know, I title my work in completion. Some people title their work. Um, some people title their work before they even begin to paint. They already know what they want to work on. So in their mind, they already have a title. You know, for me, I title my work in completion. Like I have to go through. I go through an entire. I literally tell myself an entire story about the history of what it is that I'm painting. I summarize it, I sum it up, and then I work on that, and then whatever that is, when I'm done, then I title it. So, I mean, that's my approach. For some people that's not their approach, but um think about it. Think about what you might want to think about what you can do with that. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all today. Bye.